Hi guys, it's easier. So today I'm here with another overdressed Diarra deck profile, and it will be Flagburg. So this should be the only one for Stoicheia that I have not done yet, which I find the least changes. So I put it like basically the end to do it. For difficult, I think I still have lower narrow to do, but that one I rather to actually have some time to test it and try it out, which I don't have the chance to do it at all right now. So it will be later, and we will have the next booster coming out very soon, which will probably be the next video you see after this one. So I want to clear everything with the main set before I move on to the next set. Yeah, so Blackbird is still a very kind of still a little bit weird in the meta. It's not the deck not strong or anything, but he is still very weak to board wipe. He is still a little bit weak against rush because you need to go fast with this deck as well, because this deck you will eventually run out of resources, even though we have a lot of tools to actually help us to counter charge, draw cards, soul charge. We have a lot of those, but in the end we still going to run out of resources very fast, and because your opponents will still attack you, so you will still need to use some cards to guard, which is something that this deck is a little bit hard to get back, because even though we do have a lot more draw power right now, but that doesn't mean we can always defend ourselves. But in this deck I did add in a lot of like 2-box cards and a little bit more defensive cards for us to actually stay longer in the game if we need to, but the main goal is still trying to win fast. So for right line, I'm still using the Flagburg right line, not only because I have full SPDs, but I still find it better. I see some builds actually using a lot more orders, so they are going for the Soger right line to basically doing more exchanges with orders and using the Grey 2 Dragon to pick up orders so that they don't lose a lot of stuff. But since again my goal is to play fast, so with the Great 1, with the shooter, I can actually attack earlier. With the Great 2, I have a chance to pull him out to do multiple attacks, because sometimes I don't have the Great 2 in my hand to actually call out, but I do want to have at least 4 attacks going on so that I can at least retire 2 units. Then he will become useful. So still using this right line, and so far this right line still doing me good. You can always try different right line. You can even try the Magnolia right line if you want to, but you will only be able to use the Grade 1 skill, because Grade 2 you do need Magnolia to run on top, but at least you get to try to find yourself some cards from a deck to help you out. But this one's so far I still think is better. So there you go. And then next, 3 more Flagbirds. Personal Right is just important in this deck. Without Personal Right, all your attacks actually quite weak, even though you can do multiple attacks, and a lot of your units are basically Grade 2. So they will only be attacking 10k, that's not enough. So Personal Right is important, but of course we do have cards to actually pump power to make sure we at least hitting something. Yeah, so still the Personal Right is important here, and we do use some souls, so having a little bit more souls when we need it is actually quite important right here. Okay, next, one of the cards that using soul is of course our Inner Pulse Dragon. So he compared to his uses in a Magnolia deck only for drawing power and soul in, now he also get to withstand after the first battle, and when your opponent is a Grade 3 or higher Vanguard, and when your Vanguard is Flagbird, of course. So this at least just by Soul Blasting 1 and using him to attack first, you get 4 attacks going in. And it's a 30 hit body, so basically can hit most of the stuff. Yeah, so just that it's really important. But of course you need to hit attack your opponent's Vanguard in order to withstand. That's something that you do need to note at. But again, he basically can hit anything, any kind of Vanguard, so usually there shouldn't be a problem unless we do see other higher defensive Vanguard build, but usually that's not the norm of like playing usual games, so he will help you a lot. And baiting a lot of cards from your opponents just for guarding, that's already massive, because you do want to keep using your opponent's resources, and this card is basically cutting off your opponent's resources while gaining some cards, because you soul blast 1 to withstand, but you put him back in the soul to draw 1, so your soul didn't change, you get an extra card, you do 2 attacks. That's a lot of pluses already, which is why this card is so great in this deck. And then 2 more assaults in a total of 3, because assaults is basically our key withstanding engine if we don't have our pulse, inner pulse. So yeah, basically it uses that, because you do need to try to gain enough attack times, so basically he's still needed. But I'm only running 2 because I'm running a little bit more different 2 boxing cards, but if you want to max him out, feel free to do so, but I think 2 is enough, because he and Flagburg using a lot of counterblast, and I'm using other cards to basically help kind of solving this issue. So 2 of these dragons don't see a lot of people playing right now. In early stages, I think a lot of people trying to put him in, but I personally like this card a lot in this deck, because as long as you do Alpha Magic, which we will not do in this deck, or you have attacking for a total of 5 times or more, when turn ends, you can put this card into your soul and counter charge 1. So as long as you can aim for 5 attacks, you put him out, maybe you give him some power, maybe personal right give him some power, try to reach the 5 attacks, which shouldn't be that hard, because we always have the ways to do it, and you can just play him whenever you have a chance, and he can even be in the back row. And after that, you can counter charge 1 and basically put him in soul charge 1, so that you can have a counter blast free for next turn, because once we run out of counter blast, that's always the problem. So you do want to try to counter charge as much as you can whenever you can reach 5 attacks, or even 4 more, something like that. So this card is a good 2-box card, and you don't mind to actually drop him out for guarding, so that's also one reason I'm using this dragon. And then 2 of the Ryuga, which is the Zero Horn Beast, you can retire this unit. 2 smaller regards get 10k plus. That's a backup plan whenever you can't person right and you want some power ups to push through. Basically, that's his uses. Yeah, nothing too fancy about this card, but it's a good 2-box, good backup. But if you keep person riding, or if you can find 5k somewhere, usually you can save this card in your hand for a next turn, or unless you really want to push for that power, because you see your opponent's only having 3 cards in hand, and you know if you pump that 10k, you're going to use up all the hands and win the game, then of course you go for it. But not, then you can save this card in your hand. And then 1 Flower Girl, because we do use a lot of Soul Blast, so still using her. I still like her here, and given that Prison is still a like very strong card in the meta, strong archetype in the meta, so having a backup plan to soul charge whenever you run out of souls is really going to helpful. And you do need soul blast for these. even though we do have a lot of cards that can soul in, we can personalize, we can add souls, but we do always have a chance to lose all the souls depending on different situations, right? Again, prison is one thing that you don't want to use counterblast a lot, because once you use those counterblasts, you can't do your Flagburg skill, you can't do your assault skill, and counterblast will be very, very tight. But you also don't want to use a lot of souls, because one soul can only save you one unit. But this card, at least you have her in a prison, you call her back with soul blast 1, you get 2 more souls in, then you can call 2 more back, then, well, turning 1 card into 3 cards. So it's more a against prison card, which when this card released, when I first built Flagburg, I'm using this card already, and I'm still liking her in this deck as a backup. But if I don't face a prison like build, then she might not have that much uses, but I can be more freely to use my Init Pulse to Soul Blast, or whenever I want to use my Init Pulse but I don't have a card in my soul anyway, then I can just call her, get 2 souls in, and then at least I can activate the skill to go for 4 attacks at least, and at least retire 2 units and get to draw 1. So I still find her useful, which is why she's still in the deck. Then 3 of the Mantis to adjust the power, because this won't hit, this won't hit, this won't hit, this won't hit normally. So I need to create the situations that I can make things to hit. That's why Mantis is still important right here. Maybe later we have some more support that can actually helps to like more constantly gaining power, but for now Mantis is still the way to go. And then one of this Great One Dragon to basically creating a 4th or 5th attack if I want to, but do remember this card you do need to apply the units for effects, and the effects is only available on your first attack, which is kind of contrasting with your Inner Pulse. So that's why I'm running 1, because most time I will be using Inner Pulse to do the first attack, and I don't want 2 effects going off the same time that I only can choose to do 1. But if I can't give myself a good control on, like you're standing at, if I don't have these, but then maybe I don't have these, but I do want to do at least 4 attacks, at least this is a backup plan that I need to. But since he's using a counterblast and a soul blast, which is still very, very high, so I'm only running 1 as a only backup plan, and we do have cards to pull him back out, so don't worry too much. Only having 1 is only there if you really have no ways to do more than 3 attacks. And then 2 of the Trident for basically counter charge. So if you mix these 2 together, you get to soul charge 1, counter charge 1, counter charge 1, so you can get to counter charge 2. That can basically prepare you everything for the next turn, because 1 soul blast for this, 2 counter blasts for 1 of this and 1 of this. So that's basically a very good combo for doing so. Only running 2 because same concept with how I play Flagburg previously. Even if I can do 5 attacks every single turn, I may not do that every single turn, because I do want to save some resources, and sometimes you don't want to restrain yourself too much and do too many useless attacks. It's like, okay, first one hit, second one hit, and then 3rd and 4th won't hit, then it's kind of not worth to do 5. So sometimes I rather do 3, sometimes I'd rather do 4, but in the past I would aim for 3 sometimes, but now I usually aim for 4, so that I can keep retiring 2 units. Unless they can't get retired, then maybe I will switch gears back to 3, so that I can leave the 4th attack to something that I can actually give trigger powers to. So yeah, that's the mindset change, but these 2 can basically save you for another turn, so I still find them very, very useful. And then 4 PGs, we do need to survive, so just using this PG, nothing too much to explain. And then 2 of the Flagburg order. This police order can basically be a 20k shield, and as you can see, there's a lot of cards that are still 5k shields, so having a sudden 20k shield is really going to save a turn. Because we are looking at like defense value, that if a card can just be played, be 20k shield, that you usually need to use 2 cards to block, but now you can use 1, then you can save 1 card. So that's the main reason I'm using this card. Of course, if your horsepower is still like insanely high, then this card it might not be able to help you a lot. But if you're wanting a 25k shield and you don't have a new draw, but you do have a 5k and this, then you just put these 2 out, then you save yourself a 10k shield, or maybe save yourself a 15k shield for another attack. That's basically the reason why I'm using this card, and so far this card is saving me a lot. Not a lot of people liking it, because a lot of different builds have this kind of card, but I think having a defensive option is quite important. But you can only use this card when you're on Flagburg, which is your grade 3. And of course this card is a grade 3 order, so before that, if you get rushed, this card is not going to help you out. But once you get onto grade 3, this card can be very helpful. And then 4 of the spiritual condensation, so that we can reuse a lot of units. We use the Flower Girl to get 2 more souls. We use the Atlantis so you can give 5k to Atlantis, and then Atlantis give 5k to something else. Put this out if you really need to do multiple attacks when you don't have other choices. Put this out so you can get to also draw a card, and from 13k to 18k. So yeah, just still the best order in this deck. Some people trying to use like Nectar, or the one that increase drives. For the one that increase drives, I think is actually too cost heavy in this deck, because you always need to have like another order to ditch, even though you can turn it into like a true drive and something that looks scary. But you also need to try to save a order card, and that order, total of 2 order cards in your hand, and survive for a turn, which is to me not too worth. And for Nectar, I do so last a lot, but I don't see a lot of value from that card. Yeah, that's why. You can also use the Magnolia order that can pump 5k if you want to, which in the past I did use it, only 1, but now I'm putting on a more defensive options, and since I'm using Ryuga, I kind of giving that up. But if you really do want to use it, you can like adjusting these if you want to, cut 1 if you want to. So the deck is actually quite flexible, but I'm trying to use different toolboxing cards like defensive, extra multiple attacks enabler, soul charging, soul charge counter charge, game power. So you can see a lot of different tools depending on different situations, which your way of playing will still be kind of linear, but you do have different ways to approach that. That's the aim here. And going to triggers. So first, the Stoicheia over trigger, just additional effects is too great, and if we are using Flagburg, most of the time Flagburg is the last one to attack, so giving another unit, another 100 million is less important to me. Yeah, so that's there. And then 4 normal crits, 4 soul in crits, so that we can have more souls, and adjusting a little power so we can hit something harder. 3 of the drop 10k draws, so that we can be more defensive, If you really want more draws, you can feel free to cut one into this. That's up to you. But again, I'm trying to play a fast game here, so I'm going for 8 crit. And then 4 draws so that we can survive whenever we need it and whenever we pull it. Yeah, so that's basically the deck list. And again, what I'm aiming for is usually attacking 4 times most of the time. That's the goal. And in order to do that, you need to rely on these and this, basically. Yeah, this can withstand once, this can withstand once, this can create and withstand once. And then whenever you really need the 5, then you can just adjust it, because once you have these 2 on the side, then this can swing for once, withstand, that's 1, that's 2, and then that's 3, withstand, that's 4, and then 5. That's how easy you can get to 5. But if you're going for 4, then you can have any other units to, like, this can be turned into something else, or this can be turned into something else because they just need to withstand once. But really up to you. Or even if you can go for 5, you can go like 1, 2, and then 3, and then your Vanguard is a 4th, and then put all the things here and then do your 5. That still works. So you do have a lot of ways to do 4 or more attacks. It's just up to what will gives you a better value, and you need to keep calculating that and use the cards in your deck just appropriate to reach the goals. And yeah, we have a lot of toolbox cards to help you reach achieve your goals and supporting the resources you need. Yeah, so that's basically it for this deck profile. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have, and then starting from next deck profile, we will head into the next set. Hopefully I get to actually try out more of the decks when things are getting better, so we can actually go out and play. Then yeah, I can even have more 5 videos out, because currently now I need to rely on remote, and not always I can get something that I want to. But if I'm going out to play with friends, I can like have a whole afternoon to just play with them, record different matches, and I can see which one is actually a little bit more good for referencing. For example, this deck, when this deck, even if it wins or lose, but at least I get to show it how you can achieve the goals, how easy you can, then I think that will be a better example. But before that, I will still be waiting, and hopefully everything will go great and get to go and play soon. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, comments below if you have any questions or any suggestion comments. As always, because I do see some people actually giving me some ideas, and like also some concept sharing and stuff, which I'm like to see. So feel free to do it below, and when I see it, I will answer them. Yeah, thanks for you guys again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.